Okay, or we could either do that or
Nah, you tell me what you got to say. I'm gonna let you know what my rebuttal is. All right.
Okay. So again, I was telling before that again, it's not my opinion that if Odin stopped Tony, I'm going by what the manga showed us.
Mm-hmm.
So far, like so with Odin's strength, you could they kind of compared it in the beginning. Compare with Big Mom for a brief moment. Like we had Big Mom as a child. Big Mom went like maybe 5 years old. She smacked a bear, and she killed it. Then you have like later on we see Odin's flashback. Odin's flashback that around similar age, a little younger, he takes a boulder and kills a bear. Then you see like later on you see Big Mom's childhood, like how known for her strength at a young age. It was comparable with Odin. Again, I'm not saying they're comparable, I'm saying there's similarities that Big Mom was a freak of nature, just like I think Odin was a freak of nature at a young child, and mostly were characterized by their strength. Odin got stronger over time when he meets Whitebeard when he's on 27. They had that powerful hockey clash. And I brought up again to Sebastian and others that Whitebeard, who was around his prime, the strongest man in the world, valued Odin's strength. That he said, like when he sensed him, he said that some of the danger is coming, and he realized that he's the only one who could face him, because nobody in the school will be strong enough to do it, pretty much. And if what?
Whitebeard got kids on his crew, man. We got Marco was
No,
17.
that's not what he's saying. What Lionel's saying is that Whitebeard at that time was literally probably in his prime. And Odin clashed with him, even though Odin got outclassed. Let's not forget that.
Hold on.
He did get outclassed. It was, at the end of the day, he was able to swing with Whitebeard at that moment in time. Now, if Odin was to verse Whitebeard where Whitebeard was at the Marineford War, it's like, who's going to win that? I think that's really what you're trying to say, right?
I get that that's being shown, that they clash and everything.
But clashes don't really mean
legit
anything.
within two chapters, we saw a real two even people at that level clashing looked like. And what we saw with Odin and Whitebeard wasn't that. And Odin himself was able to identify, like, these two people are levels above me.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
he was able to identify that himself. You know what I mean?
No.
So,
and I know I'm not disagreeing with you with that. But I'm saying that even though, again, Odin did acknowledge that Whitebeard and Roger are classes above him, I'm going by, even though that happened, what did Whitebeard say to Odin? He valued his strength, and he said, "I view you as a little brother." And this again, I'm going to go back to Kaido and Big Mom. Later on, we find out what did Big Mom actually say to Kaido. She viewed Kaido as a little brother. That's what going comparison.
Yeah, but that's like age.
No, but he's talking about like how Whitebeard views all his crewmates as sons.
Yeah.
Odin's the only one he views as a
so
brother.
basically, Lionel's saying that he viewed Odin as an equal.
Like not an equal, but like more of an equal.
But
than
even if he did view him as an equal, that does not mean he viewed them as equal in strength. And what I'm talking about is strength here. Whitebeard respected Odin as a man. He was strong. That was intriguing, yes. He realized he was a conqueror. These people, like, I was in crews with people like you, like the Rocks. The fact that he was willing to bend the knee to him, to go after his goals, and then drop that completely to go do a chivalrous act and save Toki, that was why Whitebeard had respected him to that level, where he was like, yo, this dude is I can respect him like a brother.
Yeah.
He's not a son. I'm not about to son this dude. I respect him as such. His strength is, I'm not saying Odin's not strong. I'm not trying to say that. One Piece has one of the worst power skills in the history of anime. So I know people are going to think I'm crazy when I say what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But Whitebeard at no point ever viewed Odin's strength to be equal to his or anywhere near equal to his.
And the reason why I say that, for instance, and again, I'm going by the chapter when I'm going to jumping ahead. But this is the reason, actually, the main reason why I say Odin is top 20. For instance, we know that Kaido got 7 losses. We don't know by who, but we assuming that it's obviously by the strongest.
They better
people.
count that Odin loss for real.
That's not a loss.
Yeah, that was a loss.
It's not a
bro.
loss.
I think Shanks is on that list.
It's
That's
not a
a
loss.
loss, bro.
Thank you. That's it. It was some soft stuff to do, but it's not a loss.
That was a loss, bro.
It's not a loss.
All right, whatever.
It's not.
So
It's pirates, bro. What you talking about?
So pretty much,
This is the same argument like if Vegeta didn't win against Goku the first time. Like Vegeta won. He walked out and he wasn't even hurt.
So,
Vegeta did win against Goku the first time.
Yeah,
did.
Goku's
No,
never
Vegeta's
beat
like-
Vegeta, but keep going. Never beat Vegeta. Keep going though. Keep going what you were saying.
Vegeta stands.
So again, pretty much we Kaido got 7 losses, and we're assuming that it's by the top, like the top. We don't they don't explain who, but we're just assuming Roger, Whitebeard, and whatever. Now, pretty much we just know, and I'm going by when Luffy hit Kaido with his Red Rock, and Kaido says. How is he able to damage me? Only a few people are capable of hurting me or fighting me. Mm-hmm. Again, who did he think of? He thought of.
Yeah, but that's super vague because Big Mom should have been in that.
Yeah, but
she clearly has the capability to do this. She didn't even think of her.
For instance, if you go by Kaido who he fought. Mostly, to me, we're probably assuming that it's going by Kaido who he fought, right? Because we know out of the two of them, he already fought Odin, and he had a skirmish with Shanks.
Yeah, some.
I guess we had a skirmish. We don't know.
The Marines
He
said
probably fought.
He probably fought.
Yeah.
But even if he didn't fight him then, they've probably fought before that.
And he probably knows how strong his Shanks is, because he's.
So again, and that goes into again, he knows how strong Odin is.
Yeah.
And he knows probably roughly how strong Shanks is. Mm-hmm. He's seen Roger and Whitebeard because he was on Whitebeard's crew with him for a extended period of time. We don't know. And he saw Roger fight his captain with Garp or the rocks. But again, when he saw Luffy hit him, when Luffy hit him, he saw Whitebeard and Roger. And now this is what I'm going by. I'm going by pretty much. Think of it to me again. I'm going to another manga. Think of it when Barrier was rating his list of fighters.
Shout out to Worst
Worst and Crows. His list of fighters. Kaido viewed Whitebeard and Roger as the top. You see, if you go to the chapter, you see Whitebeard and Roger at the top. We all know that they're the strongest. People might argue Whitebeard may be a little stronger or Roger might be a little stronger, but we know that they are the top. They have even the 2 highest
Who
values.
is Pirate King, dog?
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that.
Luffy's going to be Pirate King. He's probably not going to be the strongest.
But the thing is, Gold Roger, no scars. In a One Piece world, the only person to
shout out to Roger.
Yeah.
I'm so confused as to why Big Mom is not there then.
He's saying because they never fought.
It sounds sexist.
They had like more of a not really a sibling or a friendship reliance, but they were cool. Because remember, she gave Kaido the ability, even anyway.
He was like, "That's my baby mama."
I mean, I don't know. They said
Big
that.
Mom put Kaido in the friend zone, yo. That's crazy.
Real
Brothers
talk.
zone.
That's why he
too
wants to
young.
kill himself all the time.
It's like, I
He's
can't-
like, "How everybody get that besides me? How everybody?" I'm out here crying. I'm
I don't
down
know.
bad.
Kaido actually shows more disrespect towards Big Mom than all the other uncles, honestly.
That's because what she looks like now. He wasn't saying that at the beginning.
Nah, he still wants that now, bro.
She like, oh, now you want to come to Wano?
I've been trying to
Now
get you
you trying
for
to pull
20
up?
years. I'm trying to get you.
You done had 80 kids, and now you want to
and
pull
some
up?
of them even look like.
I know Katakuri my kid too. Don't be lying.
Nah, Oven looks the most.
Oven looks just
Where's my
like
child
Kaido.
support?
Wait, isn't it Oven, Dogtooth, and the other one that looked like
They're triplets.
Yeah.
They're the triplets.
All right, so
Shanks is Yonko level, but I've shown that Kaido and Big Mom are a little bit stronger. Again, not a big gap,
do not
but
know
Kaido and Big Mom
We do
are
not know
stronger.
that.
I'm about to agree with Lino just for that one.
you know what's crazy? We're about to
He's
just
wrong.
move on.
He's
I'm
wrong.
saying
Because
right
this
now.
is wrong as
You're
hell.
wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah,
Good.
super
Well,
wrong.
I'm going by what Kaido's showing.
All right.
Kaido's showing.
So let me address a couple
It could
points here.
also go just by respect.
Yeah, let me address a
You know what
couple
I'm saying? This
points.
is pure speculation on your part.
One, there's no way to know that the mangle paneling of how he put them around Luffy is indicative of
Put them
strength.
higher than Logan.
That could be Oda just paying his
He said,
respects.
how high will your ceiling go?
Bruh.
Showing that. And he questioned.
That's
don't
too
know, man.
vague a thing
Yeah,
for me to be
that's
drawing
weird.
actual.
What you think, Lawrence? You think anything about that?
I'm not doing that.
Honestly, I'm trying to gauge this thing because like I'm weighing towards to like if he's like 20 or if he makes the cut, because also I was going at the flashback. He did hold on to the chain too for 3 days on the ship.
He did. Listen, the thing with Odin is he's more badass than he is strong to me. Like, he has these amazing feats and moments and dope situations, but like strength-wise, like actual within the realm of One Piece strength, like Zolo could have done that. That thing that you just said, Zolo probably pre-time skip could have done that. And we would have been like, oh, this is amazing, it's this and that. And it's like, oh, Odin did it, and now it's this, it's this and that. It's like, yo, ultimately, that's not something great.
I'm going to be real as hell with you, Lionel. It sounds like he just has PTSD from a dude that just
has problems,
scared him because he was like, yo, I'm actually almost about to die.
It's like, yo, I've never been that close to death, and he brought it there.
Let's put it this way. Odin literally had one more strike before he cut down Kaido. He said it.
That.
No, hold on. But Odin said that.
Who said that?
Odin said that.
Yeah, he said,
hold on. He said, I'm going to take your head off this time right now. And he was about to do it. And then Oda was like, no, have this hag play as Momonosuke and all this and that to stop that from happening. And then Kaido took advantage of that free shot and took upon him to take him down.
You're crazy if you think Kaido was going out like that. He wasn't even in his hybrid form yet.
Listen, that's his fault.
I'm saying he would have done everything in his power to not take that L in that way.
And also, too, I'm 100% believe that attack, because I was looking, I reread the chapters, that attack that Odin did on Kaido, I don't think he mastered imbuing his haki, his king disposition in the attack. I think that was a moment because the anger and all that stuff was going on. Because I was looking back at other attacks, you don't see haki leaking off his blade until that moment.
Yeah.
Like against Whitebeard, even when he clashed with Kaido the first time.
So this is my rebuttal. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes you got to put this into perspective. When somebody of Conqueror's will happens to get cut or hurt to the point where like they're now capable of getting hurt and cut, they sort of, I feel like the shockwave hits your will more than anything. It hurts the will of a conqueror more than anything because they have so much will. So when they finally get overpowered, I feel like their will goes from here all the way down to here. So when I saw Kaido get shredded from Enma, I felt like his willpower at that point was like, yo, I'm probably going to like be offed right now. So I feel like that we should take that into account too.
Let me say one more thing before you get to your thing. Mm-hmm. I was looking at Odin's flashback, right? I kid you not, it looked like it wasn't fully that Odin earned Kaido's respect until he survived the boiling oil. Because even after that point, he was still laughing at Odin. But when you look at Kaido's face after the boiling oil, Kaido was serious and then gave him his respect. He said, you won't even last an hour, remember? Then when he lasted that hour, so like to me, it wasn't so much, the cut played his part, but it wasn't a lot of the cut.
But I feel like that's the second part of Kaido realizing how real Odin was.
Yeah,
because he also saw Odin almost beat him and he was prepared for it. Mm-hmm. That's a shot to his will too. Like Kaido really thought he was going to just like one shot this dude and it was going to be easy. Like everything was over.
No, not necessarily.
It was going to be over.
He had already thought in the game planning for how they were going to go about it, that Odin plus the Yakuza plus the Scabbards plus the Samurai plus Wano as a whole.
But the thing is,
he would be at a disadvantage. He already thought that back then, which is more proof positive that he's clearly at an entirely different level right now than he was then, because he out here like LOL Luffy, LOL Kid, LOL Law, LOL anybody coming at me. Doesn't matter if all of Wano raises their arms at me. I am dominating y'all.
That could also play into the factor that Odin is stronger than Luffy at this point in time.
He is not.
Yes, yeah.
No, he is not.
If Kaido fought Luffy and Odin, and he said how high you're still going to go, showing that he questioned it and said that pretty much that Luffy still has further to reach.
Yeah.
But also,
if that didn't happen, why did Odin think of that? Why did he even question it?
That's also before Luffy.
If they were on the same level.
That's also before Luffy developed the haki he did now. Because like Odin didn't show him. You know how like Luffy and Kaido are able to clash without even touching now. Mm-hmm. Odin hasn't shown he's able to do that yet.
Yeah, that's true. That's 100% true.
But Luffy is stronger than Odin. But he's on the list.
Yeah, but if you go to when Luffy again, if you go to one of Luffy's when Kaido and Luffy when Luffy hit Kaido and he said that, then Kaido restates something similar to what he thought of when Luffy hit him. He said only a few strongest are capable of doing it. He said something similar when Luffy hit him with Red Rock. only a scant few people are able to fight me. Then it's only a scant few of the strongest are able to do it.
I mean, people
He
capable
said,
of Rio.
It's
But it's different when you have King's disposition coding your armament now.
Hold
and your
on.
Rio.
Low key, Red Rock probably had King's disposition imbued in it as well.
I mean,
he
I'm not
was
gonna say
holding
that.
Kinemon, and he was all like, it was chapter 1000 when it happened. You think Oda didn't write that Luffy had King's disposition hockey?
Not at that point, no. I
No,
don't think
he
so.
had. There's a part of me that thinks even Red Hawk itself could potentially have King's
Nah,
disposition.
it doesn't.
No, you can have it.
it
You can
doesn't.
have it
It makes
in it, but not
sense.
clothing
There's
it
no
like clothing it
true
like how the other
logic
does
to
it.
how he's able to do that. But that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah. I mean,
Pete.
I see what you're saying, but I still disagree, bro.
The thing is, and also again, the thing is when I brought up the spirit thing, when I said vintage of Odin, Kaido says there hasn't been a monster like won't be a monster samurai like him again. Then again, if you go to when Zolo fights Kaido with Luffy and them, right? Zolo uses 4 attacks to hurt Kaido, and out of all of them, the first time he hits Kaido, he does Oni Purgatory and stuff. I don't know if he had Haki in it. Kaido says, "Well done." He just laughs. Then the second time, Zolo actually puts Haki into it, puts Haki in his blade. But Lawrence brought this out. Kaido does not recognize Zolo's Haki. The one he feels, he says, "What is this strange Haki?"
This is what
And he
I
felt
said
Odin.
last
He felt
episode.
Odin's
Was
Haki.
this is what I said the first episode where it's Odin's hockey in that blade.
Y'all are wrong.
No,
Y'all are wrong.
no.
Y'all are wrong. Because
No.
Kaido did say that he had King's disposition hockey
No.
in that chapter.
We're not talking about that attack. We're talking about the other attack.
But you said Kaido never said
No.
that he felt
Yeah,
Odin's
what did I
hockey.
say
He just
before? I
that.
said 4 attacks.
Yeah,
and I'm
we're
going
through
by
the list of
one by one.
attacks.
But then you spoke in definitive. You said
No.
never 2 minutes ago, 2 seconds ago.
I said he did it.
Listen to what he's saying about the attacks because he's trying to get at the last attack.
Exactly.
That's where he felt Zolo's
Exactly. When he used
But the
King's
first
vision.
one, he felt
The first
Odin's.
two. The first two.
yeah.
When he does the flying,
true.
dragon hockey thing, he saw of Odin.
So are you
Then-
trying to say that Luffy is capable of using Red Rock and King's disposition without actually showing non-hitting attacks? Like non-physical hitting attacks?
Well,
I am. That's what I was
Okay.
saying. I don't know if they agree with me or not. But I believe
Well,
that.
to me, I personally think that with the hitting somebody with without touching, I honestly think it's a combination of Rio and King's
Can I
position.
ask? So this is what I'm going to say for real. At this point in time, if Odin transferred from 20 years ago to what he is then to right now,
Kaido body
he
in
would
that
be between a Yonko and a first command.
I think he's running Shanks and Rax's level.
See, this is where we stop talking. Now. We have to stop talking.
The fact that you have Rocks and Shanks on the same level is a problem.
It's a
This man
hey,
had
Kaido-
Whitebeard and
Kaido did
Big
it.
Mom and Shiki and
I don't think the gap
Kaido
between
below him.
I don't think the gap between Whitebeard and Rocks was that big of a difference either.
The fact of the matter is, Shanks isn't stronger than Whitebeard. This dude stood above Whitebeard on a pirate ship.
Bastion, again, you just talk about getting stronger, but now against me, you're throwing out the window that Whitebeard didn't get stronger than Rocks. At
No,
one point?
I'm saying that Shanks hasn't gotten stronger than Whitebeard. Or, okay, so you're saying at that time.
Exactly. That's my whole argument.
Yeah.
At that time,
maybe. There's
again,
no
at
way to
that
prove
time.
that. There is absolutely no way to prove
Listen,
that.
Roger's clearly stronger than he was back then, but he was still considered Yonko level at that time. I'm not going by what they are the last when Roger died.
Right.
I'm going by Shanks with Rocks now. Rocks can't get any stronger because he died. Odin can't get any stronger because he died. Kaido was that same strength as Rocks and Shanks.
Yeah.
And then at one point, he just got strong because he kept on living.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because all right,
I'm gonna make a lot of
I'll just
sense.
tell you my question, just for the sake of curiosity. It was, who do you think would win in a fight, Chin Zhao versus Sanji? And the reason I picked it is because one has King's Dispo, and the other one currently has just armament has to be just in case he does gain it. But at this point in time, who do you think wins?
Wait, you're talking about King Jinja
Right now?
or King Jinja in his prime?
No, Chin Zhao now.
Sanji.
I would go Sanji, yeah. I mean, Sai kicked
Yeah,
him
I was thinking the
and
same
his
thing.
head got
Sai
spent
be a
backwards,
bent
you know what I
backwards,
mean?
so-
I mean, that was after Luffy did it, though.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
Luffy-
that's
Luffy
still
brought it
Sai,
back.
though.
Luffy brought it back in the side.
Like, you can't-
I got Sanji
Yeah.
over Sai.
If you got kicked by somebody that wasn't Sanji and that person wrecked you, you're not taking Sanji kicks.
All right,
Sanji
go.
doesn't have the strongest kick in the world yet. All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it's
still
But
have to-
Sai does.
No, I'm not saying
because
Sai does. what I'm
the
saying.
real argument is, again, is Yamato third if King's Dispo really does matter?
I
But
really
in
think
this
Yamato's doing it, bro.
in this
Yeah.
case, he actually broke it down in a way where like it does make sense. Like if Garp really doesn't have King's Dispo and he's just out here with the most dominant armament hockey of all time,
like Elizabeth
then
Bale.
he could probably just hurt Kaido more than Luffy's hurting him right now.
No, like Elizabeth Bale. Look how strong he punches, and he doesn't do anything. He just King
Elizabeth
Elizabeth
Bale. The dude that
He's just
goes
like
like
this. Winding up, and then eventually he gets to the point where he can swing off, and it does major damage. And it's like that dude.
I wonder if he
nothing.
winds up for 2 hours. Is it like that's powerful? Like
What if he
just
for days? And he's just like, all right.
he's like Yo Kaido.
Garp got the strongest punch. We'll see.
You know,
All right, so let's get into your top 20, bro.
All right, so it's Rocks 1.
Wait, Rocks of all time, number one.
It's not in order.
Yeah,
it's not in order. Like he actually wasn't 1. He's at 13 because I forgot
Okay,
about him. Yeah,
all right.
But whatever. Roger 2, Whitebeard 3, Big Mom 4, Shanks 5, Akainu 6, Aokiji 7, Garp 8, Sengoku 9, Kaido 10, Dragon 11.
Wait, can I stop you there? These are not in order of strength.
They're not in order of strength.
All right.
They were just people coming into
So
my
I was like, yo, the disrespect that Kaido just received is crazy.
Listen, 1,
I swear, if you put Emu on there, bro,
Eam is somewhere around here.
I'm gonna throw you against
Where
the wall.
was I? All right.
yeah, Dragon.
I'm the Dragon. Okay, Mihawk, Rayleigh, Eam, Elder Star 1, Elder Star 2,
I don't get
Elder
why-
Star 3,
why are you
Elder
putting
Star
the Elder
4,
Stars in
Elder
there?
Star.
No,
Because
they're supposed to be.
They are
No,
the pillars
no,
of the
no,
world
no,
government.
no.
They
we're
show
not
that
doing this. No.
they're like the guardians of the.
The elders
world
have
government.
literally done nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Literally done
That does
nothing.
not mean I
hasn't
can't
done
rank. That does
anything.
not mean I can't scale them.
But you can't tell me that they're gonna beat Odin
Yes, I
at
can.
any point. No.
Would the Elder Stars beat Jinbei in a fight?
Yo, that's cool. That's Jinbei. But what I'm telling you right
Why
now,
is Odin holier than thou?
because Odin
He's
is
not above. He's not above being
because
scaled,
there's not
bro.
many people that would be able to beat Odin. But
I'm about to name him. I'm in the middle of naming him.
Your list is a lot of speculation.
yeah,
Dog,
It's not
crazy
fact.
speculation.
Everything you just said
No.
for 30 minutes
No,
was
no,
speculation.
what I said was actually showing you in the manga
Oh, my
how
God.
they viewed Odin's strength.
right.
Again, those were
No,
my
yeah.
words. There were people
hold
in One
on.
Piece
I've seen. All right,
saying
so
those things.
hold on one
Not
second.
myself.
I've seen them kneel down to somebody else, and like I get that Odin let Whitebeard be his captain, but again, it was on equal terms most likely. It wasn't like, yo, I'm bending the knee to you because you're just stronger than me, or you're better than me, or
So
higher
hold on,
than me.
let me get this right. The world pops off. It all goes to crap. People storm into the Mary Joes, right? Mary, how do you
That's
say
cool.
it?
They could fight.
You're trying to tell me an Odin level character can just pull up and beat them Elder Stars and then get to Eam?
No.
As if that didn't happen.
Hold
like
on.
this isn't One Piece.
What I'm saying to you-
In what hierarchy of this series, other than gag stuff, has there been a, yo, I'm at the top and I have commanders underneath me? Because again, the Yonko and the world government are structured the exact same.
Buggy.
They have, without it being a gag.
That's not true.
There's commanders underneath me and they can't bang
That's
for
not
the
true.
slightest.
That's not true.
In what organization?
I could bring up
In what
no, no, no.
organization?
The Celestial Dragons over the Admirals.
Bang.
Yo, hold on.
Bang.
But look, but that's the point. That's the point of the Goru save.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the point
They're
of the
part of
Goru
that class.
save.
Dude, if
Not
Luffy's
good.
supposed to fight Eam, who was the Straw Hats fighting?
Again.
Thank
the
you.
Elder Stars.
For instance, I'm going to
They
say
have
this.
weapons. They have
For this.
scars.
Again.
They've lived for however
I'm
long.
not-
Probably
Again.
established the war.
Sebastian, I didn't argue against the Gorosei because they have scars and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
out
cool.
against
Eam?
For instance, the fact that
You're throwing too much speculation. Like these
And I
characters have
can
never
accept
done
that.
anything.
The
Like
fact
put
that
it this
Celestial
way.
Dragons are higher than the Animals. How you don't think that Eam is some dude that they just have a Celestial Dragon who can't fight? Just the Elder Stars.
'Cause this is
would be
One
just under
Piece.
them.
Yeah, this
But
is
they have
One Piece,
Celestial
bro.
Dragons. The fact they
Because
have
this is One
Celestial
Piece.
Dragons, Sebastian.
Only in
over the
gag
Animals.
situations has somebody stood atop other people and been clearly weaker than them. Only in gag situations. When Eam showed up and became a potential end of series opponent for Luffy, you have to start ranking him in these tops. Because this is One Piece. There's not going to be a world where Eam is like, oh, well, damn, guys, you messed up my plans. And he's weak. The show is about ambition and willpower and with the strength to do these things. And Eam, the potential endgame boss, is going to be some scrub.
I 100% get what you're saying.
Come
I do,
on.
and you make total
And
sense.
Odin is supposed to be above it?
Hold on, and you make total sense. But for you to put characters that have literally have never done anything except talk.
That's
like,
fair.
We could be like, hold on. The closest we could ever say is Shanks, right? We could be like, oh, Shanks hasn't really done anything. But Shanks also has some proof of his strength. Because he's clashing with Whitebeard, going to Kaido and stopping him, going to Marineford and looking Akainu, who was on bloodlust mode, and telling him to stop.
Of Kaido.
But what I'm saying is,
so that just kind of like
I'm saying is Shanks, even though Shanks we know nothing about, we don't know if he's stronger than anybody else. We just assume he is because of the feats that we've seen so far. And the only feat that isn't a part of his strength is that Sea King plot hole, right? So, but you're literally saying the Elder Stars, who are only known by position and the way they politicize the world, is part of that list. That is super unfair.
But what's the One Piece rule?
I'm not gonna.
No. What's the One Piece rule though?
What?
Right? Because like you said, like Shanks earned his title as Yonko. So that right there just shows no matter what, if he's done anything, he earned that seat. So that shows that he's that strong. He's Yonko level. The Elder Stars, right? They always say, like, in One Piece, you can't really claim anything without power yourself. That's like the One Piece rule. You want to gain something, if you want to achieve your goal, you need power. They always say, you want to do this, try and protect it. You have a goal, try to protect it. You want a family, try and protect it. Remember, the Marines are under the Gorosei. The world government are under the Gorosei. So the Gorosei are running the Marines and the world government. They would have to achieve this with power.
So let me tell you this. Who's winning in a fight between one of those Gorosei and Akainu?
The Gorosei and Akainu?
Yeah.
Honestly?
Oh, thank you. So that's the answer.
Hold on.
So
Hold on.
that's the answer.
No, hold on. Even if it is Akainu, right? The point is, there is some level of trepidation on his end that he has to report to them and speak on what he said. And it's Akainu.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But hold on. That could all be just because of hierarchy. That could all be because you earned that position or you got to that position.
But he's Fleet Admiral now.
Sebastian.
If he decided to, he could be like, yo, screw all of that.
Real talk.
We're going to take out the Gorosei because they aren't strong enough to stop it.
Are you better than my boss or no?
Sure. I mean,
okay,
yeah.
So just because she's in a higher position, right?
I hope she's a fan.
I don't care. if she's in a higher position, right? Does that necessarily mean that she's stronger than you?
No.
Okay, so then this is what I'm talking about.
But
so what you guys are saying doesn't make
in the world of One Piece where
yeah.
people have supernatural powers, and Akainu could walk into the Gorosei's room and kill all 5 of them if they're weak. He could do that at any time.
But this is the point that me and Lionel's making, is that this is on your part all speculation.
So
for you to put
why I have
all
more people.
5, for you to put all five in top 20 is disrespectful.
All 5. Wait, you have to look at time and score. What they say, time and score in NBA.
Honestly,
time and length of series.
Let Lionel speak.
I'm not fully going against Sebastian. I'm mostly going with by their age.
We don't even know how old they are.
The fact is,
they out here looking for body.
Sebastian.
For all we know, they're immortal.
Sebastian, when have you seen someone who's that strong, but at their age makes them at their strongest? Because I have examples with Whitebeard. Whitebeard's the strongest man in the world. At the Marineford, he was getting hit by fodder. He was beaten by squatter.
But Lionel, we don't know. Some of them look young. Some of them look young.
Yeah.
And just because you're old doesn't mean you can't take a dude out in a couple shots. Whitebeard taught us that.
And also the dude in the war. What's his name?
No, my point is, you are not in your prime. So you are a lot more weaker. Even Rayleigh said that him using King's disposition was a lot for him now. That he was even fighting. We know that Rayleigh is stronger than Kizaru, yet he is fighting on par with Kizaru.
Okay, I want y'all to know this. The inclusion of the Elder Stars got me to 20, but I have more. So
that's cool. I just don't want you ever to say Emu or these Gorosei.
Emu and the Gorosei for sure.
Because it's dumb.
That's 6 slots right there.
It's not smart.
6 slots right there.
It's not smart.
So if I'm right in 500 chapters, what are we gonna do? Do I get money? What do I get?
No.
What do I get?
No, hold on.
For being logical,
you would be right because now we're not speculating.
So
no, but we're following the One Piece rule.
Thank you. Yeah, this is we talked
cool.
about Yonko Cruz 600 chapters ago, and it's like, you can't tell me they're stronger than Crocodile. Like, what do you mean?
But they have proof because they're pirates.
No, because like even the One Piece rule, they said it like, you remember what the law said to Shishigi.
Also pirates.
The law said to Shishigi, you being weak, you can't even shoot. You can't even choose how you die.
All
you
right.
being weak.
Anyway, name your last whatever, and then I'm gonna get into everything else.
All right, Kizaru.
Adam Live.
All right. Fujitora, Ben Beckman, Luffy, Kong. And then I have a couple other on the fence dudes.
I kind of agree with Ben Becker, but
I have some other on the fence dudes.
He is just as a celestial dragon.
There's
What
dudes in the past like
so
Joy Boy.
This is the only thing I can say. Kizaru looked at Ben Beckham and he was like,
So
"Oi, oi."
They both be in Odin in a fight, so it doesn't matter.
And plus,
I'm going by
it's
Cole,
said
I'm
that
going by
Shanks'
Kaido.
crew, at the same time too, Lionel, we can't forget, even though I'm starting to believe more or less that Shanks' influence and ties with the world government stopped the war. I'm more in the belief of that now. But when he did go there and pulled out his sword and was like, yo, if y'all want to continue banging, we could do this. And they all just stopped. Yo.
I mean, it's one of the most hype moments of One Piece,
but it's most
also one of the
questionable.
most overrated strengths in
Respect.
the history of the game.
I'm going by what Kaido showed, and to me, he showed that Whitebeard and Roger are on the same strength.
Can't
He
listen to
showed that
alcoholics,
Rocks-
man.
Let's get to the next one. Nami is Nami top 5 strongest Straw Hat right now.
No.
So out of 373 votes, 61% said no.
Yes. That's
Okay.
So
That's still not high enough.
Yeah, I know.
So one of the more controversial ones, which was really brought up by Seb, was will Usopp have Conqueror's Hockey by the end of One Piece? With 836 votes, they said with 61% yes.
What? Let's go! Let's go! Yes! Yes, TikTok!
That doesn't make any sense.
Yes!
It's
just Usopp, and we forgetting who
Because Sniper Island
believe
lives in
me.
your hearts, people.
People believe that Usopp is going to have King's Vision.
Yes.
But Oda's not top 20?
Yes!
All right, hold on.
No, they believe Odin was.
Hold on. Let me go more
your
into
face.
it. I have a couple more videos and then we're done. Is Blackbeard the weakest Yonko?
Yes.
With 341 votes, 65% of the people said yes.
Yes.
Big Mom not being him.
Then the next one was,
tripping.
will Yamato be the third strongest Straw Hat? This was by far the closest one. 292 votes. It said 52% said yes.
Would be the what?
Would be the third strongest Straw Hat if she joins.
Luffy, Zolo,
Crazy.
Yamato.
People are crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Because she has King Digital,
And
that's why.
I think this one's the
only reason.
this is the one that's also close, but I highly disagree it's going to happen because it would just make the story worse. Will Law sacrifice his life to give Luffy immortality?
I hope not.
So out of the votes that we had, because we had a couple, 174, because this was today posted, 52% said no. But that's super close that people actually think
But is
that
it-
he's going to give him immortality.